Hi, and welcome to another edition of Fire Talkers, Reflectionary Conversations to Self. I'm Gloria Mendez, a certified life coach, and this is my partner, John Johnson, also a certified life coach. And we've been doing our podcast on the podcast platforms, but starting this episode, we have decided to also video it and post it on YouTube. So, those of you that are visual or want to just see us interacting with each other, because sometimes that can, be a little bit more helpful, you can tune into our YouTube channel that will be linked to our website. So, for today's episode, we will be talking about toxic positivity. Some might say, how can positivity be toxic? But it actually is. So, toxic positivity is the obsession with positive thinking. It's the belief that people should put a positive spin on pretty much every experience, including those that are profoundly tragic. And this can be very detrimental to a lot of people, not only to those that are being, in essence, spoken to and trying to be lifted up by others in a positive way, but a lot of times it's self-imposed, and it can silence your emotions. It can make grief much more slow and difficult, and it makes people feel under pressure to be happy all the time, and that's not really a reality. So in that sense, that's why we're talking about toxic positivity today. So we will start with our conversation. John, what is your take on toxic positivity, and have you had any interactions or circumstances where it's impacted you?
I think when you first brought up the topic, I immediately thought of this coworker I had after I graduated from college. Um, every day she was just happy for no reason. I'm just like, ugh, like you don't
Right.
have no wrong side of the bed at all any day. But I think that was just me being my younger, immature self. So I don't think that was toxic. I think because we were working with kids at the same time, it was just, if you be that sunshine, you'll bring about other little mini sunshines with the kids. But I think now that I did some research and some self reflecting, I think the toxic happiness you kind of see daily, whether it's social media. Oh, you can have this image, or you do this, you have to look this certain way. That toxic happiness, saying that you have to be a certain way or look a certain way, will bring you that happiness.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost as if it's been ingrained into us, a new socially constructed norm that we need to just kind of brush through the downs and push through and get over it. Um, and a lot of things aren't that easy.
It's not. Another one is these advertisements. Hey, if you do A, B, C, D, you can have this car. You're gonna have this type of lifestyle, as if everybody wants that car or that lifestyle. It's
Right.
a you pushing your happiness on me when that might not be my joy. And you brung up grief before. Like, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't know what to say when it comes to death at times. It's like, how do you ask somebody, how are you feeling today? Like, to me, that's kind of a unethical question. It's, for lack of better words, it's a stupid question. You mourning somebody.
Right.
So how do you say, how do you feel?
Right.
And but then that person that you're asking, that person is kind of obliged to say, I'm okay. That's that toxic happiness that we talked about.
Exactly.
Well,
Exactly.
I'm hurt. I'm pissed. I'm confused. I don't know what to do.
Right.
I got bills to pay.
Right.
I got expenses to my kids, my husband, my wife, or who you are involved with. I mean, just being realistic about certain things is kind of shunned upon.
Right.
When we've talked about being happy or joyful in the past and just being positive, but that doesn't neglect the fact of just being realistic about certain situations.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was thinking about that in our past podcasts when we decided to do this topic today.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know, we've been promoting so much of, our mindset and taking positive steps and how we can make our goals happen with certain ways of thinking, which is in essence a type of positive, mindset, positivity. And I don't want people to get misconstrued that we're trying to be toxic. We do understand there are things that take time to process before you can get to that point of getting your mindset correct, getting your goals set in motion. Um, it's all a process, and there's no timeline.
But it goes back to what we said before. That I don't think that changes is the fact that you knowing yourself.
True.
Um, I try to be positive. I'll consider myself to be a positive person. Um, like Gloria mentioned, you can be self-imposing toxic happiness upon yourself. There's one example of, it could have been worse. Depending on the person, that could be toxic. To some, it's a peace of mind, because the fact of the matter, it could be worse.
Right.
But like we talked about before we actually started this podcast, you know, I'm never going to tell someone just because you lost a child, hey, at least you have the memories of that child. Or depending on the person, that could be even worse. That can be gas on the fire. So it still comes down to knowing yourself and how to approach people. Um, so,
And knowing how to approach the person that you're speaking with.
exactly. I mean, because certain things can be very sensitive depending on the person. That's why when people, let's say, to go back to the grief aspect, I never ask, how are you? I just say, if you need me, let me know. I don't say how, when. I don't even try to be positive because you don't know what's going on in that person's mind. That person might not even know what's going on in his or her mind at that time because it just happened, just on the grief aspect.
Right.
But even on the work aspect, you have somebody who's just always positive. That can actually hinder the productivity of the goals set for that particular job. If you building something and you just saying, hey, everything is good, everything is great, but you looking at the foundation is not even set in stone. Things are not being built correctly. Realistically, that's toxic. Because once you've done what you're supposed to do and you supposedly have met that goal, but that foundation is not set correctly, the fact that you wasn't realistic with that goal and you have those low points or those downers or those problems that need to be solved that you just kind of just threw everything on top of it, those things come back and haunt you. Because you set goals that were supposed to be set by, let's say, a certain timeline or whatever it may be, or the subject, and because you did not be realistic and you was just, everything is good, everything is great, when everything hits that fan, the reality kicks in, everything is not right. So being, let's say, toxic happy can actually hinder you, especially with your productivity. So we talked about grief, we talked about goal settings, but there are so many other ways and avenues where just basic day life, toxic happiness can affect you in the wrong way,
It can actually be quite dangerous because the idea of toxic happiness, toxic positivity, you can actually put yourself in a situation where you are ignoring real harm. Example, any type of abusive relationship, be
Agreed.
it emotional, physical, or anything. Um, if you keep telling yourself, you know, it's just a phase. They're not always like this. They weren't like this in the beginning. It was just a bad day. You know, telling yourself all the positive things and not being 100% real with the situation can ultimately put you in a very dangerous position, because you've got to be real with what you're dealing with.
I agree.
Um, and it all goes back to knowing yourself, like John said, and much more intensely speaking, is knowing your emotions. What happens a lot with toxic positivity is people tend to use it to brush their emotions under the rug. Um, they don't want to deal with anything sad, uh, down, anxious, um, anything that does not bring them happiness or joy. And so they think, let me just hide it away and keep moving, and life will go on. And life does go on, but it doesn't go on in a real, authentic way. It's it's fake, and the reality is, by living in that toxic positivity kind of fantasy life, without dealing with those negative emotions, you put yourself at risk for depression, anxiety, and a lot of mental strain that is, it's exacerbated. Granted, maybe you'll have it in the beginning when you're dealing with the emotions, but it won't last as long, and you'll gain the skills necessary to deal with it if it comes up again, if you just deal with it instead of brushing it under the rug and letting it build up and become something that it didn't need to be.
Um, like I say, I think we covered the more of the self-imposed. I personally would like to talk about the outer exposure that comes upon you. You know, you might have friends that's always, they call it gaslighting, I do believe, where, you know, pumping you up. You can do this. Oh, don't worry about it. Things of that nature. Blah, blah, blah. You know, you might have those friends saying, who could be jealous of you? You know, and say, hey, you know what? Spend your last dollar and go buy this. You look great in that. And in your mind, you're like, I got to go pay these bills. You know, buy that outfit. It's going to make you feel better, but you have responsibilities. So, I mean, you really have to check the litmus paper on not only your emotions and your actions, but the actions of other people, whether they're fans, family, friends, strangers, co-workers, or it may be, because this toxic happiness can come from anything, you know, especially if you have a vice. You know, you might have someone who is, let's say, recovering from alcoholism. You know, a friend might be like, you know what? Go ahead and take that one drink. It's not going to bother you. It's going to make you feel better. That one drink after all these months, they're gaslighting you. You know, it's a toxic happiness. You know that you might be spiraling after the fact. You know, so you really have to be conscious, you know, of, you know, certain things and certain energies within you and without of you, because, you know, it could appear a certain way. It might feel good, but in the long run, that doesn't mean that it's okay and that it's great at the same time. Um, the productivity, the emotions, the mental strain, all these different factors, you know, they might feel minute at that moment, but they build and they grow. If you don't believe me, you know, look at some of your past traumas, some of your old habits, good and bad. You know, and sometimes we might want that time out of life to say, you know, I just need something good to happen. Someone tells you something and they start to gaslight you. Oh, you look great today. But they just want you to buy some of their products or this, that, and the other, and just not being realistic. You know, that's the world that we live in. I'm not saying that you should be feeling bad or depressed about it, but the fact that you are aware of it makes you more genuine of yourself and more productive and joyful of that. Simply because you can acknowledge certain things. Going back to grief. You know, again, everybody deals with everything differently.
Very much so. Um, to add to that, um, your friend group, your peers, the people that you choose to associate with. If you find yourself around people that tend to be at a different emotional level than you and are, in control of their emotions, so to speak, um, seem more balanced, happy, um, and you don't, or you go to them for friendly advice, and they give you advice, and they're there, boosting you up. They're your cheerleader. Um, Sometimes it can turn into a building of low self-esteem, because if you count on other people to give you what you need, um, and it's not yours, then your your sense of self, your self-esteem is low. Um, if you feel like I don't fit in because everybody around me is this way, and I can hope to be like that one day, but right now I feel so much different. I'm not okay with this. I'm sad. I don't want to do this. I don't feel comfortable going out. Um, you feel that sense of I need to continue to follow that pattern in order to keep people around you, and it's a lot of pressure. That It's toxic positivity as well, because you're going outside of yourself to fulfill what you need.
You're basically lying to yourself.
True.
And then you wonder why you don't fit in. It's because you're never really true with yourself.
Right. And the reality is, you may or may not be associating with the right people, but you won't know until you do the work on yourself and feel okay alone.
And don't feel bad if you actually are doing that. I mean, we all go through those moments of, aha, that's why. And I
Right.
think that's one of the reasons why we can actually talk about certain things. Is
Yes.
because we deal with ourselves daily, you know. Um, and those people that are, let's just say, toxic, joyful, happy, positive, we're not saying they're bad people.
No.
Some are, some just have good hearts, good intentions, and they're really trying their best to make you or help you feel better. So that even if the intentions are right or positive, it can still be wrong, but their intentions are still to help. So if you're saying, should I continue to talk to this person? Should I listen to this person? Yes or no? I mean, ultimately, it comes down to you, but you still have to look at yourself and ask yourself, what's the real intent of this person telling me or doing certain things? What's the real reason or the intention of myself thinking or feeling or allow myself to feel a certain way? So you have to, in a sense, gauge that particular person. Like that one coworker that I had, I don't think that she was toxic or toxic positive or whatever you want to call it. I just think she was just a happy person. And I was just more focused because I'm here to work, do my job, and leave. She was, I wake up, I'm happy. Just some people are just naturally happy. And that used to rub me the wrong way. It's like, why? How? What was in?
I want some of that in my coffee.
Exactly. Like I didn't had 2 cups already, and I'm still like, okay, maybe my third one, and no coffee with them, and they're just happy. And I'm like, okay, maybe the sun is shining. No, it's raining. It's cloudy. I'm sleepy. Hi, good morning. And you're like, what did I miss? Did she got like a special yellow bus? And it shines, and like, man, what? But I knew it now. It was me. But again, you have some people who are just pretending to be happy. They're giving you a facade. And that facade makes you feel bad because you thinking, I should feel that way, like I just said, ironically. I should feel happy and joyful too. I'm at work. I'm helping people out. I made it to this point in my life. When in actuality, no. If you're not having a good day, just say you're not having a good day. It sometimes you got to be point blank with people. Hey, look, today is not the day. I woke up on the wrong side. You don't want this fire. You have to just be honest because realistically, that's the truth. And it doesn't shun the other person, but
it actually helps them. It helps them learn to interact with
exactly.
you.
It helps you to interact with yourself.
Yeah.
Imagine just putting on a facade saying that you're happy. No, like I don't want to be bothered with nobody today.
It's too much energy.
Yeah, I don't want to be bothered with no one. I don't want no noise. Turn the TV down low. I don't want to be bothered. But I know for me to deal with me on that particular day with that particular mood or emotion, it's the best thing for me. I'm not going to say, oh my God, no, I should be feeling like this. No, I just don't want to be bothered. Today is not the day. And then you have some days where you're just completely social. Where's everybody at? What are you doing? Can I come and play too? So you have to just be realistic with yourself. Again, know thyself. Because man, I'm not saying being an adult is hard, but
it is.
It is. It's completely overrated compared to when I was a kid. If I'm not saying my parents were bad, I'm just saying if they was more realistic and just say, hey, this is what's going to happen. Get used to it now. So when you get older, it's easier to adjust to it. Because, it ain't meant for you to fit in. It's not meant to be happy all the time.
You're meant to stand out and shine.
You're supposed to be yourself.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to be happy every day. Some days, I'll be honest with you, I don't want to be happy. I want to just go to the gym and live in anger. Why? It feels good. I like being mad. I like being angry sometimes. Why? It gets me focused. It helps me get my job done when I need to get it done. Being happy, I might get distracted. Oh my God, look at that butterfly. It's so beautiful today. I just want to... No, I want to be focused on what I need to be focused on. And me, I'm sometimes more focused when I'm angry.
Yes.
When I'm in the gym, I love the gym. I'm happy in the gym. But if I let my anger out, my productivity and my focus is better. I don't want to go to the gym and start speaking to everybody. I say hi, I'm cordial. But that hey, hi goes to 5-10 minutes. Next thing you know, you're in the gym for 4 hours and you only live a half hour because you're being happy and joyful sometimes. No, that I want to be mad. I want to be angry. Leave me alone. I want to work out. That's why I came. This is a gym, not a club.
Okay, that's
Sorry.
enough.
I'm just saying.
Soapbox.
Be you, do you. I'm sorry.
And I'm speaking up. You've had enough time.
I'm just saying.
We got the point.
Jeez. I think because I deal with this on a regular sometimes. Hey, you see somebody in the gym, what's up? You be like, good Lord. I was almost there. Almost.
Keep walking. That's all I do. Keep walking.
It's not, and they're good peoples. But then some days I got a lot on my plate. I just need to be happy.
Right.
I'm already mad. I just want to be happy. I go to the gym. I want to sit outside and do nothing. I don't want to hear your happiness. I want my own. Don't tell me how to be happy. Don't suggest you should do this. I mean, don't get me wrong. Sometimes I do need that. Damn, I forget. I was too mad. I need to hear that as a reminder, you know? But then there are some days you're just like, I don't want your happiness. I want my own. I want to be selfish. I want to be appreciative of where I'm at. So again, know yourself. Because sometimes other people's happiness, again, is toxic. Like, just because it's happy for them, don't mean it's going to be happy for you. No, I don't want that car. Give me a bicycle. I just want to feel the air. Yeah. No, I don't want your ice cream. I want donuts. Like, no. Sorry.
Are you done?
No, I think I am. I do want some donuts. But what I'm saying is, you know, it's okay to be okay. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to be you. If you're just having a down day, I'm not saying that you should stay down. I'm just saying happiness can be toxic. And sometimes you need to figure out certain things in other manners other than just being happy. Because, again, like for me, happiness can be a distraction. You know, having that adult beverage and you're just happy, it can go in so many directions depending on that person, you know? And then you got people saying, hey, I'm going to buy you another drink. And you already know you need to have stopped already. So again, toxic happiness can go in so many different ways and manners. We already talked about social media. We talked about advertisements. Hey, you know, you do these 5 steps, you become a millionaire and before you're this age. And you're like, I tried that. Then next thing you know, that person's standard of happiness wasn't yours because let's say you did meet that goal. You're still not happy because that's not what you really wanted because you never really got a chance to know yourself. And let's just say that you didn't reach that goal of that $1,000,000 that they prescribed to you. Now you have that self doubt, like Gloria mentioned, and you're like, okay, what's wrong with me? Why is it that he or she can do it? I do the same exact steps, and I failed.
Okay. So we will probably have another episode on toxic positivity because this is a big topic and it affects everybody on a daily basis. But we are done for today. We hope that you enjoyed this podcast. Like I said, starting with this podcast, we are now going to be on video on YouTube. So check out our website at www.truelightcoachingllc.org. All the information to find our YouTube channel, will be on there. I will post a link. Very entertaining. Let me just tell you, very entertaining. You won't want to miss it. Donuts and all. If you have any questions, if you want any information about toxic positivity, if you'd like to hear more about toxic positivity, please email us at contact@truelightcoachingllc.org. And until next time, the true light of success lies within you. Bye.